Hello there folks, Belfast boxing historian and ex-pro fighter Eamon McAuley with you today to talk about boxers from the past. Just back from a run and a shower there, so I'm feeling good, feeling fresh. I was also part of the Hilario Zapata camp when we went to Colombia and he defended his title against Fidel Bassa, but I'll get to that later. Hilario Zapata boxed from 1977 to 1983. He was a light flyweight and flyweight champion of the world. Zapata had 54 fights and his nickname was Sparkplug. Of his 54 fights, he won 43 with 10 losses and a draw. Zapata went to Japan in March 1980 and beat champion Seiji Nakahima to become world light flyweight champion. Zapata defended in South Korea, Venezuela, Japan, and again in Venezuela. He was a travelling champion. Zapata made 15 successful defences of his light flyweight and flyweight titles 8 times in his opponent's backyard. In 1981, he fought what was then the only light flyweight bout ever to be broadcast on American live TV, beating Joey Olivo by 13-round knockout. He then successfully defended in San Francisco against Rudy Crawford. In August of that year, Zapata made a rare appearance in Panama, winning on points against Mexican Herman Torres. He also defended against a name I'm not even going to try and pronounce by 13th-round knockout. In his next fight, Zapata lost his light flyweight title against Amado Urusa, who in turn would lose it to Tadashi Tamarai. On June the 20th, Zapata regained his world crown by beating Tamarai in Japan. Then Hilario beat future champion Jung Koo Hang and closed out 1982 by beating Tamarai again, this time by KO. In a rematch with Chang, Zapata walked onto one and lost his title. Later that year, Zapata boxed under Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, world title undercard, and he lost the American Harold Petty. His career seemed over, but he began again. This time he moved up to flyweight. And by the way, Zapata was named as the second greatest light flyweight ever. By the end of 1984, Zapata was the #1 ranked flyweight in the world, and he challenged Argentine Santos Laciar in Buenos Aires in the legendary Luna Park, where Carlos Monzon made many of his title defences. And then Zapata lost a close 15-round decision against Laciar. After Laciar vacated the crown, the WBA gave Zapata a second chance and he beat Alonso Gonzalez to win the WBA flyweight title. Zapata defended against Javier Lucas, Suchi Izume, Dori Penalosa, Alberto Castro and Claudemar Cavallo before losing to Fidel Bassa. Zapata was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in June 2016. In February 1987, I was part of the Zapata camp. I travelled to Barranquilla in Colombia as Zapata was defending his WBA flyweight title against local boxer Fidel Bassa. Barney Eastwood had took me and Paul Hodgkinson to Los Angeles as BJ's mate. Luis Spada's boxer Bernardo Pinango successfully defended his WBA bantamweight title against local legend Frankie Duarte. We then flew down to Panama to get Zapata mentally and physically ready for his world title fight against Bassa. Most Colombians told me that Zapata would win as he had beat better Colombians than Bassa. His own nation didn't give him much of a chance. We ran with Zapata in the mornings. He was a cool kiddie and didn't say much, if anything at all. Like Roberto Duran, he probably couldn't speak much English. About 5 or 6 of us ran with him in the mornings, including me and Paul Hodgkinson. Zapata was just taking over as all the hard work and all the hard training had been done. I remember Zapata had some gold teeth, like me, and he had a beautiful, stunning white girlfriend, or wife, unlike me. On fight night, me and Paul Hodgkinson stood in a packed tennis centre in Barranquilla, and Barney Eastwood had got some Englishman to look after us and make sure we didn't get into any trouble. It was a hostile and intimidating crowd, and for 7 rounds it was a very tight affair. Zapata, who was a tall southpaw, was trying to keep the fight at a distance. Bassa was aggressive, taking the fight to the Panamanian. Incredibly, as Zapata walked back to his corner at the end of the 7th round, some lunatic got up under the ring apron and punched Zapata, knocking him out. Zapata was carried back to his corner as missiles were thrown in the ring. The police had to stand around the ringside, protecting the Panamanian corner. It was crazy. It was as bad as anything I ever seen in Belfast. After 10-15 minutes, the fight resumed, and Bassa came on strong to win the title with a unanimous decision. There was a big free-for-all in the ring after the decision was announced, and missiles were thrown in. Zapata was escorted by the police back to his dressing room as the crowd hurled missiles at him. I have never seen anything like it. Crazy, mad, we were frightened, terrified. There was a return match in Panama a few months later, which ended in a draw, and there was rioting for 2 or 3 days. It made world news. A couple of years after this, Zapata came to Belfast to spar with Dave Boy McAuley, as Dave Boy was getting ready for one of his world title defences. I think it might have been against Dottie Pendelosa, the southpaw who Zapata had beat. Anyway, John Breen and Paul McCulloch, who both coached Dave Boy, told me that Dave Boy McAuley couldn't lay a glove on Zapata. And don't forget, Fidel Bassa came over to Belfast to defend his world title against Dave Boy McAuley, and Bassa beat Dave Boy twice. I boxed on the undercard of the first one. Hilario Zapata was an all-time great. I got a photo of him taken in Colombia, but either I lost my phone or it was stolen. Probably the latter. Here's a couple of photos of Hilario Zapata. Thanks for listening, my friends. Take care and God bless, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.